You are welcome to Literature Hub 247. This is a free online literature class. How can you join this class? Just click on the subscribe button and the bell icon and you're already in the class. This gives you access to all our videos, and whenever any video is produced, you are going to be notified. This particular video is about a non-African play titled Look Back in Anger. Look Back in Anger is written by John Osborne. The video is about 2023 WAEC questions on the text. But before we go into the class, I want to advise that you watch one of my videos titled How to Answer Literature and English Questions in WAEC and NECO. The title again, How to Answer Literature and English Questions in WAEC and NECO. That is important so that you understand what we are going to discuss in the class. In that video, I explain the new dimensions that have just been introduced by WAEC in answering questions. That is why it is important for you to watch the video. So, if you need the link to that video, just write in the message box that I should send you the link to the video on how to answer literature English questions in WAEC and NECO, and I will do that. Let's now go into the classroom. The first question says, does Jimmy love Elena and Look Back in Anger? Does Jimmy love Elena and Look Back in Anger? As usual, the first thing to do is to relate the question to the theme of the play. One of the themes of the play is the theme of social class conflict in England of the 1950s. This conflict had negative impact on marriages and friendship, as the society was divided along that line. The next thing to do is character identification. That is, we are going to identify the characters that are mentioned in the question. Jimmy Potter is about 25 years old and he is Allison's husband. He is tall, thin, and smokes the pipe. He is educated, unemployed, and bitter. He is emotional, abusive, and aggressive. Elena is Allison's friend, and she's about the same age as Allison. The two are of the same class. She is carefully and extensively dressed. Jimmy describes her as one of his natural enemies. Next thing to do is you talk about Elena's appearance at Jimmy's flat. That is how she comes to the flat. Elena is coming for a play rehearsal at the hippodrome. She then calls Allison if she could stay with them for the weekend. Jimmy warns Allison about the coming of Elena because they don't see eye to eye. When Elena arrives, she sees how badly Jimmy treats his wife and listens to Allison's complaints about Jimmy also. He also extends the hatred to Allison herself. It gets to a stage that Elena is unable to endure Jimmy's offensive behavior in the house. She then threatens to slap him. Jimmy responds that he will hit her back straight away. With this, Elena advises Allison to leave the house for him to come to his senses. She then calls Allison's father, Colonel Redfern, to come and take her home. That is to come and take Allison home because of the way the husband is treating her. Now Jimmy and Elena, after Allison is gone, that is how they are living after Allison is no more in the flat. Jimmy is back home after attending his friend's mother's funeral. That's the name of the friend is Who. He meets only Elena at home and asks her whether she's the only one that is not afraid to stay and what she's doing at home. Elena then tells him about the pregnancy of Alison. He's not disturbed and responds that he shouldn't be overcome with horror because Alison is going to have a baby. He refers to her as quote unquote cruel stupid girl. Surprisingly, Elena slaps Jimmy and kisses him immediately. Jimmy later asks Elena, let's quote what she said. What Jimmy said. Do I detect a growing satanic glint in her eyes lately? Do you think it is living in sin with me that does it? Elena then requests for peace from Jimmy by saying, can we have one day, just one day, without trembling over religion or politics? That is from Elena. When Elena tells Jimmy, I love you, he replies, I think perhaps you do. Yes, I think perhaps you do. Jimmy can afford and make love to her. Now, finality is brought to the relationship when Alison re-enters. So these are the guidelines that we need to be following in answering these questions. Jimmy has emotionally shown that he doesn't love Elena, though he sees her as being articulate and combative. She is upper class like Alison. If you look at it critically, we will realize that most of Jimmy's arguments with Elena are on Alison and her parents, religion and politics. They do normally argue on topics based on intimacy. That has been the bone of contention. They never argue on anything that has to do with intimacy or love. Jimmy made a confession to Cliff before the latter leaves. Something I want from that girl downstairs, something I know in my heart she's incapable of giving. So, with this, we can see that Jimmy does not love Elena. Now, the next question. Comment on the role of Cliff Lewis in Look Back in Anger. Comment on the role of Cliff Lewis in Look Back in Anger. Relation to theme. The play discusses the effects of World War II in Britain on relationships. The roles of Cliff Lewis revolve around friendship, class distinction, and anger. Character identification. Cliff Lewis is Jimmy's friend and very close to Alison. He is about 25 years old like Jimmy. He is Welsh and of the same class with Jimmy. He is not married, but friendly and romantic. Cliff's role in the play. He plays the roles of a concerned friend and peacemaker to Jimmy's family. He broadcasts peace between Jimmy and Alison. He and Jimmy manage a candy store business, that's a sweet shop. He also serves as a foil to Jimmy in the play. We are able to know more about the characters of Jimmy through his interaction with him. That is why it's a foil. That's the characteristics of a foil character. Cliff's attitude in the play. Cliff endures Jimmy's excesses in the house and cares for Alison. He is used in the play to reduce tension created by Jimmy's emotional behavior. He feels unconcerned about the happenings in the society around him. He doesn't read the newspapers much. He's not in support of Jimmy and Elena's relationship. Now, the significance of his role in the play. Cliff demonstrates the gap between the lower class, who are mostly unemployed, and the upper class in the society. His exit from the house deals a moral blow to the rather loose moral of the upper class relating to love and sex. So this is how we are going to break down our answers there. But note, the prints in red ink are not part of the answers. They only serve as guides as set out by WAEC. That is, those prints those prints in red. So they are not part of the answer, just to serve as guides so that we know how to answer the questions. So when you are answering your own question, you don't need to put relations to team, character identification, significance of his role. You don't need to do all those. That I just put them there so that we can understand it very well. So don't forget to make a request for that video if you have not watched it, so that you understand what we are saying here better. So you can share this video on any social media platform, like the video, invite your friends to join us. And if you have any question, just send it to the message box and the questions will be attended to. Let's meet in the next class.